Hi, everybody. Sheila Keeter here, your teacher for inclusion. I used to create videos for TPT sellers, and I haven't recorded any in a long time, but I am watching the TPT conference, which made me miss creating these videos. So I thought I would just jump in and see what you think about the TPT conference and share my thoughts so far. Um, First, I want to address all of the changes that happened with TPT from last summer until this summer. Um, I was thinking about my audience a lot and thought about doing a couple videos because of all the changes, but just ended up not doing them. Anyhow, that was kind of a lot. I'm kind of a go with the flow kind of person, so I don't completely freak out when there's change or anything like that. But I did feel, to be honest, I'm going to say that at the end of it all, I felt very jerked around. I don't know how you guys felt, but looking back at it now, I think that TPT was doing a lot of things. This is totally my opinion. I'm surmising. I'm not. I haven't heard this from anyone, but it felt like they were trying to make all of these changes in order to maybe do a sale. Um, and the changes weren't, we were kind of the ones that had to get the brunt of those changes. And I'm really glad that things went back to normal. Even the logo is now going close-ish back to the old logo. Not that I really cared about the change in the logo, but it was just kind of what's the point? And the logo looked worse. So I didn't understand any of that. The personalized search, it was really difficult for me to tell um, if my shop was affected by personalized search. And I'll tell you why. For one, I had created a ton of new products. So my sales went up from the previous year, but they didn't go up a lot. And I was expecting them to go up much more. But we also have everything that's going on in the economy right now. Regardless of what the politicians say, we know that the price of eggs and bread and gas and everything has gone up. And so I know that teachers are prioritizing their spending and probably not making as many purchases of products. So it's just really hard to know. I'm glad it went back because I heard mostly negative things. I'm sorry if it positively affected you and it went back and now it's negatively affecting you. I'm sorry for that. But for the most part, I heard, my sales have been cut in half, so on and so forth. So who knows? But anyhow, I'm glad things are back to kind of being normal again. And I am enjoying the conference. Last year, I had a rather negative take on the conference. In fact, I was so negative that I ended up taking the video down. A lot of people were in agreement with me, though. No one disagreed with what I said, at least not to me directly through YouTube. But I thought it was a lot of the same of the previous year. And this year it seems different. There are some of the same speakers, but a lot of them are speaking on different topics. There are some of the main staple speakers who I think speak about the same thing, like Misty Miller, because it's a really great speech for new sellers. So there are some of those in there, but I think those are necessary. And when something isn't broken, why mess with it? So anyhow, I just want to talk about a couple of the speakers that I was able to watch this morning, see what you thought about it so far. I watched the Imposter Syndrome by Mike. Oh, great. I didn't write down his last name. His store is Celebration, SEL, because he sells SEL resources. He talked about imposter syndrome. I thought he did a really good job. He talked about strategies to combat imposter syndrome. And some of them that I thought were really good was like the first one, he said, it just remember it's your inner saboteur. It's not really your voice. And so he's named his imposter syndrome so that when he has negative self-talk, he can literally say, I think it was David or something, David, shut up. So he kind of, when that voice crops up, he tells it to be quiet. He also suggested to make a thoughts versus fact chart, which I thought was good because he, instead of saying, oh, my sales are down, look at them from last year, do a data comparison, and make sure that whatever it is, whatever thoughts you are having are accurate, because a lot of the time they're not. He also suggested to make a smile file, which I'll never do, but I think it is a good idea to have, like when you get a good email or a great review or something like that, to put it in a file if it really is affecting you significantly. The next thing I watched was Marketing Simplified by Beth and Jarrett Fauché. This is what I have to say about them. They are great people. They have great personalities. Their topics kill me. I feel like I'm back in the classroom learning math. They do it in a really engaging way. This is not a criticism of them at all. In fact, I am going to next year, my next plan is to purchase the Your Data Playbook, because what I want them to do is give me the information and say, this is what you need to do, because the process of getting the information and analyzing the information is a killer for me. I just hate that. So I've gone on a webinar with Jarrett Fauché, and he's really actually very funny. He's outgoing. He's a very personable person. And when he talks the numbers, I just can't. So anyhow, they did something different this year. They did Marketing Simplified. And mostly what I took away from that is that instead of diluting what I do, I need to narrow it down to choosing specific types of social media and doing those well. Okay, let me turn the page here. Oh, my favorite is, where is she? Oh, her name is Chanel Moore. Her name is Chanel Moore. She has a podcast called Routine Your Dream. And I just love listening to her podcast. It is really inspiring. Again, it's Routine Your Dream by Chanel Moore. And so she goes over all the different strategies that you can use to increase your sales. And she is just so great at mapping it out for you. And she uses examples because she is a coach, and she uses examples from her actual members, the members of her membership. And she doesn't necessarily have a membership, but she does coaching. But anyhow, one of the things she said, her favorite quote is, success leaves clues, and it's by Tony Robbins. And basically, looking at the data, which, as I mentioned, I don't really want to do, but it's so necessary to do. Looking at things like your best sellers and making more of it, or your niche clues. Sometimes you might go into a niche and realize that a different niche of something that you experimented with is making more. And she said, please don't feel like you're married to your niche. Go on and do what's selling. And the time clue, you might notice that when you're making more money, it's because you put more time into your store. But she also cautioned to be careful about that, because there is burnout. And she did an example of a woman who made up to like 250,000 when she lost her job teaching, and she just threw herself into her store. She went up to 250,000. She got completely burned out, couldn't do anything for a year, and dropped down to about 150,000, which we'd all be happy with that, right? But she does warn of the burnout issue. And I myself have experienced this firsthand. If you are someone who has listened to me in the past, you probably know this. I experienced burnout right about when I stopped creating these videos. I'm still struggling with burnout. I'm still struggling to get back into TPT. I put more of a focus on my teaching, and I think I needed to do that. So I'm glad that I did. Because it kind of shifted, and for a while my passion was just with TPT, and I kind of lost my passion for teaching, and I need to balance that out somehow. So I'm working on that. Her question is, or the statement that she made, that she said when people started to see growth in their stores, when they said I started taking TPT more seriously. And she asked, what is it that you need to do to take your business more seriously? And I immediately was able to write out about 10 different things. I think we know what we need to do. And I think we need our thoughts sometimes organized and written out. Like Facebook ads is something I haven't tried yet, and everybody talks about Facebook ads. Doing videos again for Instagram, maybe tap into the elementary or the high school novel study community, blogging more. And I'm going to talk about blogging in Jasper in my next video. So, and I need that data playbook by Jarrett Fauché. So anyhow, I was able to very easily write down what it is that I need to do. And maybe you should just take a moment and do that too. Okay. I also watched one that I thought was interesting, Texting, The Future is Text Message Marketing by April Smith. Personally, I would hate to be getting text messages from people selling things, but I suppose there are they're few and far between, like maybe one or two people I would be willing to give my phone number to receive notifications of a specific product, or of, a store in particular that I really like. But I think we need to be really, really careful with this as it's coming out, because it can be a real turnoff, I think, for people to be getting constant text messages. So I think it's something we're going to learn more about. I found it interesting just to listen to her. I kind of had a closed mind about it, but after listening to her, I kind of opened my mind a little bit about it. Anyhow, and then Josh Cabral talked about copy, which he has talked about the last couple years, but it is a refresher I need every year, because I listen to it and then I don't visit it or work on it or anything. So at least getting a refresher from him was good. And then I watched Leveling Up Your Products by A.O. Jones. She did a really good job. She used a lot of examples, and I think her primary focus is the primary level. I think us high school and middle school sellers have a lot less resources. If you're one of those people out there, maybe you should make a class on selling middle school or high school resources. I don't have time to do it, but I thought when I saw that, that would be a great idea. Anyhow, I hope that you are having a great summer. I hope that you're not working. I hope that you're taking time for yourself. I know I am. My daughter just turned 21, so I had a shot with her on her birthday. Probably shouldn't be sharing that on here, but I try to be myself and pretty honest. I'm not going to start doing videos once a week again. I'm not promising anything. I'm just going to share when I feel like I have something to share. I probably will be doing videos for the next couple of days because of the conference. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the conference, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye, guys.